Well, let's talk about Zoe's training tools and commands so that you can stay consistent at home. First, let's talk about the heel. Heel is on the left side. Her shoulder should be about aligned with your left leg on a nice loose leash. So this is the prong collar. This is what I've been using with Zoe. So to take this apart, you simply pinch one prong with your right hand, grab the other prong with your left, and pull down. It doesn't take a lot of effort, it's just about the leverage that you apply. To put this on, you want it right up behind her ears, under her chin, as high up as it'll go. And to put it on, you're going to pinch this prong and just slot it into the next prong. This will be very stiff at first, it'll take some practice to get it smooth. So when she's in the heel, if she starts getting ahead, you're going to tell her no, give her a pop on the collar, and tell her heel again. So it's no, pop on the leash, heel. This should bring her back into the heel position. When she is with you, you can reward her with treats, petting, or praise. Just be very gentle with the pets because she gets a little overexcited about them. She does love treats and praise though. This is the remote collar. To turn this on, there's a red dot on the collar. There's a matching red dot on the remote. You simply tap those together until you see a flashing green light. The green light means it's on, charged, and ready to go. To turn on the remote, there's this L button on the back of the remote. You simply press and hold that until the screen lights up blue. So with this, if she's getting ahead in the heel, you'll tell her no, tap the black S button. We're not going to use the red button right now, just the black one, and tell her heel again. So it's no, tap, heel, and that should bring her right back into position. Bring treats with you, especially on your first few walks. This will help you build the consistency of that heel by rewarding her when she's doing a good job. With sit, we don't use a stay with any of our commands. We don't use stay. So with sit, she's to sit until you tell her free or give her another command. For example, with door manners, you tell her sit at the door. She sits, you open the door, and then tell her free to go through ahead of you or heel to go through with you. This is a short duration stay. It shouldn't be used for long durations because they'll get tired or bored. Down is for longer duration stays. When you do reward in a down, you want to reward low, either on the floor or under their chin. If you tell Zoe down and she doesn't go into a down, you're going to tell her no, pop down and to the side instead of up like we did with the sit and the heel, and tell her down again. So it's no, pop down to the side, down. And that should bring her into that down position. Always return to her to reward and release. You don't want to reward from a distance because that will weaken the strength of your stays. So you always want to return to her to release. Place is similar, it's a boundary stay. We use raised platform beds for this because it's very clear where the boundary is. As long as they are on that bed, they are in place. It doesn't matter if they're standing, sitting, laying down, moving around a little bit. As long as their forepaws are within the boundary, they're on place. Always put the rewards on the bed itself. All the rewards should come from the bed because that's what should be valuable to them. And as with the down, you always want to return to her to free her. Come when called is next. Always have a leash on when you're practicing come when called. This is a safety measure for her. So when you call her, say come in a clear voice that she can hear. Praise as she comes to you, and then have her sit and you can reward. Always reward this command because you want it to be super rewarding because you want her to always come back to you. If she chooses not to come back, you tell her Zoe come. She doesn't come. You're going to tell her no. Tap the button on the remote for the e-collar and tell her come again. So it's no, tap, come. And again, always reward when she comes back, even if you had to correct, because you want all of the positive things to happen next to you, even if the correction happened out there. With leave it, that is a correction in itself. You don't have to use no. If you tell her leave it and she starts going for it anyway, you'll just tap the button and tell her leave it. You can say no, you don't have to with this. The e-collar can be worn all day, every day. Put it on in the morning, take it off at night. You can rotate it throughout the day if she starts getting sensitive spots on her neck. Otherwise, it can just stay on in the same place all day and come off at night. The prong should only be worn when the leash is on. It should only be used when you're going for a walk or you have the leash on in the house. So now let's take a look at some of Zoe's commands.
I have not used it this month, Shal. بيجوز في واير يا خال، إذا الواير بيبدوا على الفاضي.
Good girl. Down. Good girl, Zoe. Free. Good girl. Leave it. Good girl. Leave it. Girl. Free. Go get him. Go get it. Good girl. Leave it. Good girl. Leave it. Good job. Good job. Yep. Place. Girl. Let's talk about the remote collar in greater detail. So I already showed you to turn these on, you tap the two red dots together. So to turn it off is the same. You tap the red dot together until you see a red light, and then that light shuts off. On the remote, you use the same L button on the back. Simply press and hold until it says off and the light turns off. I'm just going to turn these back on. So the other buttons on this remote, there is a T button on the opposite side of the S button that you already used for corrections. This button simply vibrates the collar. We don't use that for any of our commands. We simply use it to check if the collar is on and functional. Next to the black S button, there is a red S button. This is a boost button. So right now it's on 15. If I press the red button, it changes to 20, so it boosts the level by 5. This is for use in cases of emergency. In case she's out loose, you call her, you tap the black S button, she's still going away from you, then you would tap the red S button and tell her to come again. So on the back of these, there are charger ports. There's a rubber tab that comes up on the collar. That should stay closed when you're not charging to prevent hair and debris from getting in there. There's a similar one on the back of the remote. And that should also stay closed just to keep it clean and ready for charging. This L button has multiple purposes. So in addition to turning the remote on and off, it also functions as a light button. So if you tap it once, you'll get a flashing light. If you tap it again, you'll get a solid light. And if you tap it again, the light goes off. This is useful for if she goes outside at night, you can keep tabs on her. The dial is up here. It is locked right now at 15. To unlock it, simply press and hold until you see it flash. And then you can dial up by turning clockwise and down by turning counterclockwise. I'm going to reset it at 15, and then to lock it, you just press and hold again until it flashes and becomes solid. So inside your box, you have the original band for the collar. I prefer these bungee bands because you can simply snap it on and unsnap it to take it off. When you put this collar on, it should go underneath the prong collar or below the prong collar, and it can go above her flat collar. But I prefer these bungee bands to the regular band. It is optional. You can swap it back out if you want. Zoe has fairly short fur, so she shouldn't need these extended contact points, but if you do find that you need them, you can swap out the contact points for longer ones, and this is the tool that you would need to change those out. Charger, you can see, has 2 ports here. This is so that you can charge the remote and the collar at the same time. You get about 2 days on a charge with the collar. You'll notice that you have to charge the collar more than the remote because the collar is doing most of the work, but you can charge them at the same time. When the collar is at about half, this green light, the flashing green light, will change to a flashing orange light, and when it's about ready to die, it will change to a flashing red light, and that's when you know that you need to charge the collar. You shouldn't charge it until you see that red light because it will shorten the battery life if you overcharge it. And underneath the tray is your manual. This goes into more details about the buttons and all the functions of the collar, but we've gone over the ones that you will need for basic use. So as always, have fun, stay consistent. Zoe is a great dog and I had a lot of fun working with her. If you have any questions, let us know.